that you were able to recognize some of the work we are doing outside there, and the fact that you can go out beyond your normal scope to identify with people in the community, especially with knowing that some of us are.
No. Okay, you listen to the SMS rated on the OBC 99.9. We're trying to make adjustment and adjust our microphone in studio. Yes.
So the fact that you place a call to me and say, "Wow, I saw something on your Facebook page," and one time in your community, I saw the kind of group that was at your place. So I want to know more about that. The fact that you place a call to me, it means that you have a concern for your people do as well. So I say, hats off to you for inviting me here to hear some of what we are doing for our people.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Let's try to adjust again our microphone. We are finding it difficult. You listening to the SMS right here on the OBC 99.9. Okay. And other frequencies across Liberia. I'm sure the microphone is adjusted to properly now. Okay, first, before going into uh, the the charity work you do, I know you named and styled it as food for health initiative. But before going into that, tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so let me begin like this. I want to extend my condolences to the ERBC family for the loss of Mr. Moiba Kesedi.
Okay.
I'm one of the ardent follower of his some of his program here. He has a Liberal Better Business Forum, and he reached out to business people in the community as well. And I was one of the person. I mean, he firstly he was one of the person who firstly hosted me here.
Okay.
So the fact that I think the last time he and myself met was at Boulevard Junction. He called me and said, "Small brother, where are you?" I said, "Yeah, Chief, I'm around." He said, "Oh man, I want to see you." I said, "Yeah, I'm around Boulevard Junction." So we met. That was the last time we ever met.
Okay.
And I didn't know he was sick until I just went on my Facebook page. I saw that he's no more. So it shocked me because he and myself was also on the GSA role, and we were community made ones. So I extend my condolences to the ERBC family, and
Okay.
I will be part of the queue that will be signing the book of condolence because we want to remember what he has done for the nation at large. It's a great work he has done, and his legacy must be remembered by some of us, and making sure that ERPC can also be consoled by us as a way of saying have our sympathy.
Okay.
So I am
Thank
Anthony.
you.
I am Anthony Welleh. I am Pele by tribe, and I hail from Bon County, and I'm also a resident of Johnsonville. I'm married with a kid, and who is
Married
Anthony.
legally?
Yeah, who is Anthony Welleh Jr.
I thought you were keeping somebody's daughter.
No, you gotta start doing something different.
Yeah, sure.
So this is where we are. So we appreciate God that we able to reach this level of doing what we are doing. So that's I also work with Dura Plus Liberal Incorporated.
Okay.
And, I play one of the managerial role there, and that is one of the souls behind what I am doing right now. So
Okay.
we appreciate that.
Duraplast is a city brother, right?
Yes, Seti brother.
Okay, now you are involved with charity, giving arms to our people. How did it all start?
Well, there is a saying that if you see the dry leaf falling, a signal to the younger one that you are also next in line. So I sat down most time when I'm driving in my car. I see a lot of older people on the street who are begging for handout. Sometimes they easily don't find support, and it's like most time in our Liberian parlance, people can say, "Oh, wage." You never see a young wage beside old wage because when you are old in our society, from what I see, it's like a curse, which is not really because we all will definitely become old one day. So I sat down and I said, look, there's a need for us to rebrand something that will give the hope to our older generation. Because there's a saying you gotta look at the old map before you plant the new one.
Surely.
So the old map give a better future to the new one that are coming, because so it was from that backdrop, So when I got at Boulevard Junction one time again, the same place, I met an old lady. She said, "My son, can you help me? Since dear, I don't have food to eat." I said, "Why? Why you don't have food to eat? You don't have children?" She said, "I do, but things not easy." So I told her, I said, "You know why? Come to my house." So she came to me, so I have a conversation with her. He said, "My son, it's not easy. Oh. We can't see everything. Sometimes for you to go out, especially the way you invited me, I really appreciate that." So I told her, "What is your problem?" She said, "Food. It's not easy to get food." She's not counting education for her children because she should be asking for education, but instead she's asking for food. So I said, "Your children are in school?" She said, "If I don't get food to eat, how we asking them during the school?"
Can you imagine that?
So I took the initiative. I said, "Mother," she said, "Yes." I said, "Call me your son. You are welcome here anytime." So I instructed my family in the yard. I said, "You come." So from that background, I decided to bring what we call a food for health initiative to give back to the older generation. So we begin that as a way of motivating others in the community that the older generations are not a curse, as we normally say, the old witch. Because sometimes when an old person come, even at your doorstep, you say the old witch, but this is not a way to burn the people. I think they don't have. So if you see my Facebook page, I do an interaction with them every Sunday. And
You
that,
will go, deep into that. I'm still trying to dig into what really motivated you, to have, initiated this sort of charity for the old people. I really want to still, go deep into that. I want to know what is the motivation, what inspired you, what did you see apart from the old lady story you just spoke about.
so like I said, I'm a victim of the same story I just explained. I'm also a victim.
In what way?
The fact that you got your father or your mother who cannot afford because they are reached the age of 60 or 65, they no longer can fresh out there to get food for you. I'm a victim of that. The name that I bear today is a name of a victim. Because like I say, I'm Anthony Welleh. If you see the name Welleh, is particularly a southeastern name.
Okay.
And that is not a born county name. But because because my parents didn't have, because they were old, they're not able to fresh out anything for me, I have to do something to bring other older people too as well who are coming around me on a day-to-day basis. So if my parents found it difficult to send me to school because they didn't have food either to eat, meaning other parents are also finding it difficult who have reached the age of 60 and above. So the motivation behind that is that we got to rebrand our society, giving a better look for the older generation. That will in return start to build the younger generation in a better path.
Now, Mr. Welleh, what are you? Because if that's what you got the motivation to do, to look at the older people. What are you so keen? What are you so concerned about? Those old people and not looking at the younger people. Then saying, okay, let me invest in the education of the younger ones. What are you looking at the old people?
Well, it's not that we are not also helping the younger one, but I believe in my mind, I'm keen to the older one because sometimes many young people go astray because they don't have the older guardians. And they need to be that pillar or platform that will inform the decision of the younger generation. And most time, if you are not keen to know that, because there's a Liberian parliament that say what the older one can see sitting in a chair, the younger one will not see, even if he sits under one Kilimanjaro.
Okay.
That tells you that it is the wisdom that they have that will bring the younger generation. So I am focusing on them because there is a need that all of us need to know that if you are old, it's not a curse. If you are old, also, it's not a barrier to not get support or helping hand for anybody. It means that if you really see out there, most of them who are visually impaired, especially the older one, to even get a handout from people who are driving that luxury car is difficult. Sometimes they feel that, because I remember one time I was giving a handout to a visually impaired older woman. A friend called me and said, "Look, why are you giving that old more money?" I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "Somebody can be witchcraft." I said, "Really? Is it because she's old?" So I just said to him, I said, "Look, guys,
Look at the negative perception
we
he has of
need
the
to
old people.
drive away from the negative perception of our older people and bring them closer. Because the way you can succeed is by their blessings. Look, many a time people don't know that if the older ones say you are blessed, it means that the future of everything is okay. So I bring them keenly to my attention because I believe that in order for our country to reach to the level that we want, it got to do with their support. It got to do with their blessings. It got to do with their prayers. So most of the time, we can only remember the older people who were going to the room to pray for us when we had difficult times in our country. No, we shouldn't be like that. We need to start caring for them. We need to make them happy. That is the period that we can use to have a better nations and a better community because they are also in the same very community with us. They are victims of some of these circumstances because maybe society didn't look up to them. And because from a younger age, if we start to do that, we start to help them. Remember, whatever little contribution we are giving to them in terms of food, whatever money they uses for food for the community of their or for their children, they are going to use that for education.
Okay.
So instead of me, sometimes giving back to the education, I give back to their food. And sometimes ask them, so are you now sending your children to school? They say, yeah, we are. Because if you don't give me food, how would I save money to send my child to school? So I say, well, that's a very good driving force to help them also be a particular. Because sometimes, if you are not a biological parents of a particular child, and you start to support them, most times they start to disrespect their parent at home because of you that they are not the one who supported them. So most times, when you want to support them, sometimes I pass it through their mothers.
Okay.
Sometimes we come to me for educational support. I say, let me see your mother. Let me see your father. I want to talk to them. Why are they not sending you to school? So when they come to me, I say, Mama, what's the issue? They say, oh, we don't got food. How will we send the children to school? I say, no, why? Do not tell them. I will give you this support. Tell them you strive to send them to school. Let them build that parental respect for you at home.
You're listening to the SMS. Now, you got this charity organization you called Food for Health Initiative. Why did you style it this way? Looking at giving food and also talking about the health of our people. Why did you start it that way?
Well, again, empty bag cannot stand.
Okay.
So there is no way you can have a better life without food. Even if you go to the hospital for medication, the first question doctor will ask you, have you eaten?
Mm.
If there is no food, how will you take your medication? So we started that way because food is the pillar of better survival.